Good morning, students. In the previous lecture, we have completed mutual induction. Today, we shall take up another phenomenon of inductance. Now, we shall discuss the second phenomenon of inductance known as self-induction. Students, in the previous subsection, that is in mutual induction, we considered the flux in one coil due to current in other coil. But it is also possible that EMF is induced in an isolated single coil due to flux change through that coil by varying the current through the same coil. This phenomenon is called self-induction, and this phenomenon can be explained with the help of this circuit easily. Look, this circuit, it contains a coil, a single coil, isolated coil, connected with a battery and a key. As soon as circuit is switched on, that is, this key is closed, current in the circuit increases from 0 to maximum. Hence, magnetic flux linked with the coil also increases from 0 to maximum. As a result of this, induced EMF is set up in this coil according to Faraday law of electromagnetic induction, and since circuit is closed, hence induced current flows in the circuit in the direction opposite to the battery current according to Lenz law. Here, directions of battery current is shown from positive to negative, clockwise direction, and direction of induced current is opposite to the battery current. This is the case when circuit is switched on. On the other hand, when the circuit is switched off means key is open, then similar case we can obtain in the coil. It means again EMF is induced in the coil and current is induced in the coil. This phenomenon of production of induced EMF in this coil is known as the self-induction. This one, self-induction. So question is, then how can define this term self-induction? So on the basis of this explanation, we can define easily. And here is the definition. Self-induction is the phenomenon of production of induced EMF in a coil when varying current passes through the same coil. And we have seen this. In the single coil, when the current varies means it increases 0 to maximum and decreases maximum to 0, then due to change of magnetic flux, EMF is induced, and this phenomenon is called self-induction. One thing also, on the basis of this explanation, we can define the self-induction the other way. Here I have written the definition, other definition. So in our part we can say, when current in a coil increases or decreases, coil current increases means the circuit is switched on, and in the coil current decreases means circuit is switched off. Then due to change in magnetic flux linked with the coil, this coil, and opposing EMF is induced in the coil. This EMF is called self-induced EMF or back EMF, and the phenomenon is called self-induction. So here we have seen the two definitions on the basis of explanation through this isolated coil. So I have defined the self-induction, and I hope it is clear. The definition of self-induction is clear. For more clarification, we can take one experimental example also which supports the definition of self-induction. So in support of this self-induction, I have taken one experimental example. You can say the practical example also. The example is a spark is produced in electric switch when light is switched off. And on and often we have noticed this always. Practically we have noticed this. So sometimes we have noticed that when light is switched off, in electric switch a spark is produced. So what is the reason behind this? It explains the term self-induction. So here is the reason. When circuit is switched off, it means when the switch is off, the current in the circuit begins to decrease rapidly, because in the beginning current is maximum and then circuit is switched off, it comes down rapidly. As a result of this, a large induced EMF is set up. Why large induced EMF is set up? Because magnetic flux is changed. So large induced EMF is set up across the switch contacts, which tries to maintain the current in the circuit. This EMF, this large induced EMF, is sufficient to break down the insulation of air between the switch contacts, and hence a spark is produced. So this is the reason behind that a spark is produced when any electric switch is switched off. When the light is switched off, then a spark is produced in the electric switch. So I hope this example supports the definition of self-induction. One important point about self-induction should be noted that the self-induced EMF always opposes any change of current in the coil. Change of current means increase of current or decrease of current in the coil. When circuit is switched on, current increases, it is opposed by the induced EMF. When circuit is switched off, current decreases, it is also opposed by the induced EMF. And this point can be explained with the help of this graph. This graph is the variation of current with time. It is also known as growth and decay of the current. In this graph, two curves are marked, OA and AB. Curve OA represents the growth of current in the coil, I have mentioned over here. And curve AB represents the decay of current in the coil, this also I have mentioned over here. So let us see this one, about the curve OA and AB. When coil circuit is switched on, we have discussed right now, the induced EMF in the coil opposes the current in the coil, means opposes the increase of current in the coil. That is, current does not attain its maximum value OD immediately, but it takes time OC to do so, means current is delayed. Again, when coil circuit is switched off, again induced EMF will oppose the decrease or decay of current in the coil, means current does not become to zero, it will take some time CB to do so. That is, in both the cases, in increasing the current or in decreasing the current is delayed because induced EMF opposes the growth or decay of current. So on the basis of this explanation or basis of this graph, the self-induction may also be defined as, here the definition, self-induction is the property of a coil by virtue of which it opposes the growth or decay of current flowing through it. So I hope the term self-induction is clear. Now let us see self-inductance or coefficient of self-induction. It can be explained in the similar manner as we had discussed earlier, mutual inductance. Students, we know that at any instant, flux linkage through a coil of n turns is proportional to the current through the coil and is expressed by this relation n phi directly proportional to I. N phi is the flux linkage, where phi is the flux and n is the number of turns in the coil. So from this relation we can write this one, n phi is equal to L into I, and here L is called the constant of proportionality, and this constant of proportionality is called, L is called self-inductance of coil or coefficient of self-induction. So how can we define this self-inductance? In this equation, put I is equal to 1 ampere. I is the current flowing through the coil. So when I is equal to 1 ampere, this L self-inductance is equal to N phi the flux linkage. So we can say that in brief, that self-inductance is numerically equal to the flux linkage in the coil when 1 ampere of current flows through that coil. So here the definition I have written. Self-inductance of a coil is numerically equal to flux linkage through the coil when unit current flows through that coil. So this defines the self-inductance. One thing also, that this self-induction can be defined in other way also, with the help of Faraday law of electromagnetic induction. How? We know that when the current changes, the EMF is induced. As a result of that, the expression is what? When current in the coil is varied, any change in current set of induced EMF. This is according to the Faraday law. Why induced EMF is set up? Because magnetic flux will change. So what is the formula for induced EMF? E is equal to minus d phi by dt. Here at the place of phi, I have written n phi, the total flux linkage. Then minus d by dt at the place of n phi, from equation number 2 we can write L. So from equation number 1 we can write Li. So E is equal to minus d n phi by dt, here d by dt, Li at the place of n phi written from the equation number 1. So minus L di by dt, because L is constantly taken out. So induced EMF can be written as here E is equal to minus L di by dt. This expression 3 is the induced EMF set up in a coil when rate of change of current is di by dt, where L is the self-inductance. So now when put di by dt is equal to 1, the self-inductance again can be defined. So put here minus di by dt is equal to 1 ampere per second, means that is rate of decrease of current is unity. It means minus di by dt is equal to 1, then L is equal to E. So with the help of this relation, again we can define the term self-inductance, and here is the definition. Self-inductance of a coil may be defined as the induced EMF set up in the coil through which the rate of decrease of current is unity. Negative sign minus di by dt means the rate of current decreases with time. So there are two definitions we have seen of self-inductance. Once in terms of the induced EMF and other with the help of the flux linkage. Now what is the unit of this self-inductance? So from this lesson 3, here we will find the unit, a SI unit of self-inductance. From this lesson 3, L is equal to E by di by dt. Minus sign I have left because minus sign gives simply the direction. So unit of induced EMF is volt and di by dt is ampere per second. So volt per ampere per second, this is called Henry. Henry divided by capital H. The same unit we have already discussed in case of the mutual inductance. So it is quite clear that the unit of the either self-inductance or mutual inductance both are the same. It is Henry, and the dimension will be the same. So dimension also of self-inductance is m L square T minus 2 A minus 2. Now we shall discuss a long question, that is self-inductance of a solenoid. So look at this diagram. Here is a long solenoid of length L, cross-sectional area A, and it carries current I in the direction shown. In order to find self-inductance of this solenoid, we shall apply this formula. From this formula, phi is equal to L into I. Here, phi is magnetic flux linked with the solenoid due to current I, and L is the self-inductance. So if we able to find this phi with the help of this solenoid, easily we can get the inductance L is equal to phi by I. So let us move. I have assumed over here, consider a air cored long solenoid of length L, area cross section A, and number of turns per unit length N, small n of this solenoid. So small n is the number of turns per unit length. So first of all, find the magnetic flux linked with this solenoid. So in order to get magnetic flux linked with the solenoid phi is equal to B into A, B is the magnetic field. We get the magnetic field inside the solenoid. So magnetic field inside the solenoid is what? We know that magnetic field of solenoid B is equal to mu naught Ni, where mu naught is the permeability, N is the number of turns per unit length of solenoid, and I is the current flowing through the solenoid. So this relation can be written as this way: mu naught, a small n is equal to capital N by L into I. Capital L is the number of total number of turns of the solenoid. So a small n can be replaced by capital N by L, because capital N is total number of turns of this solenoid. So this is the magnetic field which is informed inside the solenoid. Now we shall find the phi. Phi means the magnetic flux linked with the solenoid, and phi is equal to B into A. So in this magnetic field B, multiply by this area cross section. So magnetic flux linked with each turn of solenoid, phi is equal to B into A. B is the magnetic field. We'll have put this value over here, B, and A is the area cross section. So this relation gives the magnetic flux linked with each turn of this solenoid. Now what is the total magnetic flux of the whole solenoid? Total number of turns is capital N this one. So multiply this phi by this with this N, capital N. So magnetic flux, total magnetic flux linked with whole solenoid phi. Here the phi is given over here, and multiply by this N is equal to mu naught N square by L into I. So we have got the total flux linked with the whole solenoid. Phi we have got. If you if I divide this phi by I, we shall get the self-inductance. So what is the self-inductance of solenoid? Self-inductance L is equal to phi by I. Already we have written the formula over here with the help of this. So L is equal to phi by I, and phi is the total magnetic flux linked with the solenoid. So phi already we have calculated over here. Put this value and divide by I. So this I and I will be cancelled out. So what the result is finally? L is equal to mu naught N square by L into A. This equation 1 or expression 1 gives the self-inductance of long solenoid having the total number of turns L, length L, and cross section A. So with the help of this relation, we can point out that what are the factors on which this self-inductance of solenoid depends. And here I have written the factors. Self-inductance L depends on, number 1, geometric factors. Geometric factor means length of the solenoid and cross section of the solenoid. How the length? Because mu naught is the constant, so L is inversely proportional to length of solenoid, and L is directly proportional to area of the cross section. Second point, It depends upon total number of turns n of the solenoid. How it depends? Again, this L is directly proportional to n square of the total number of turns. So these are the factors on which the self-inductance of solenoid depends. Now, one thing also we can note that if solenoid is wound on a magnetic material, any magnetic material like iron or some other one, then whose permeability is suppose mu r. Mu r is the permeability of that magnetic material. Then this expression L takes the form this. L is equal to mu naught into mu r, where mu r is the magnetic material over which the solenoid is wound. So mu naught mu r n square by L into A. So equation 2 gets the self-inductance L of this long solenoid which is wound on a magnetic material of permeability mu r. Now we shall discuss energy stored in an inductor. What is an inductor? You know well, inductor is a tightly wound coil which opposes change in current, and this is the symbol of inductor. I have drawn here one inductor which is connected with a battery and a key. When key is switched on, current I flows through the circuit, through the inductor, as a result of which one induced EMF or back EMF is set up in the inductor, and this back EMF is equal to minus L di by dt, where L is the self-inductance of the inductor and negative sign indicates that this back EMF opposes the passage of current. Students, we know that when current grows through an inductor, this back EMF opposes its growth. So, some work needs to be done against this back EMF to establish this current in the circuit. And this work done is stored in the inductor as potential energy. So question is, how can you find the energy stored in the inductor? We shall calculate the total amount of work done in establishing this current I in the circuit. So in order to calculate the work done, suppose let I be the current flows through the inductor at any instant of time t, then rate of growth of current. So rate of growth of current at that instant is equal to di by dt. And due to this growth of current, the EMF is induced, that is called the back EMF. So induced EMF set up inductor is equal to L di by dt. Here I have negative sign is I have left. So leaving negative sign means negative sign simply opposes the induced EMF opposes the current. So this is the induced EMF for back EMF set up in the inductor. Now we will calculate the small work done to maintain the current in the circuit in a small time dt, then total work done. So a small work done in establishing a current I in time dt. Suppose small work done dw is equal to E I dt. E is the induced EMF or back EMF, I dt. So at the place of E put its value L di by dt. L di by dt into I dt, now it becomes L I dt. So this expression 1 gives the value of a small work done in establishing the current I in the circuit in a small time dt. So how can you find the total work done? So total work done will be calculated by integrating this equation 1. So total work done to maintain a steady current I naught is the maximum current in the circuit. W is equal to integration of dw, integrate it. So dw here Li dt. So minimum to maximum 0 to I naught maximum current. L will be taken out, it will not be integrated because it is the constant. So integration is I dt 0 to I naught, and this integration becomes L I square by 2. So now we'll put the next one. upper limit I naught, lower limit 0, and in the finally after calculation you get this work done W is equal to half L I naught x square. So this equation 2 or equation 2 gives the total work done to maintain the steady current I naught in the circuit. And this work done will be stored in the inductor as mechanical potential energy, or you can say magnetic potential energy. So this work done is stored as magnetic potential energy and given by U is equal to half L I naught S square. So this expression is the expression for energy stored in an inductor. So this way easily you can calculate the energy stored in an inductor. One thing also it should be noted that from equation number 2, one point can be raised that suppose expression W is equal to half I naught S square. This expression reminds us the mechanical kinetic energy half mv square of a particle of mass m. Because when we compare both expression, W is equal to half L I naught S square and kinetic is half mv square, it shows that L is analogous to m. That is, L is electrical inertia and opposes growth and decay of current. So I hope it is clear to all of you. So this is all for today. In next session we shall start new topic. Thank you.